Hi guys, hope you guys are doing great. So this is the second video on the analogy series on lifestyle diseases. Now in case of lifestyle diseases, we all know that the medicines that are there, whether it is for diabetes or thyroid or cholesterol or blood pressure or whatever, they are all meant to be taken for life. So once you are detected with any lifestyle diseases, then we have to take these medicines for life. And we all know that these medicines have a series of side effects, adverse side effects, and we all want to get rid of these medicines. Now why is it that these medicines are for life, and why can't they cure the disease? Let's try and understand that and try to explain this with an example. So I've already explained in the previous videos that most of the medicines, in case of most of the lifestyle diseases, they work on the symptom and not on the disease. And hence, while the symptom goes away and comes back, the disease is where it is. So giving an example, for example, in case of thyroid, the medicines that we take, it is just pumping in the extra thyroxine which the body is not making, and that is all it does. And hence it is not treating the reason why we have a thyroid issue, and it is only dealing with the shortage of thyroxine which is there which is not there in our body, and it is coming from outside. So now to give an example, and today's analogy is that, for example, if our child is weak in studies, he or she is not being able to cope up with the studies. So now what do we start doing his or her homework or classwork, and do we start appearing for his or her exams? Now even if that was legal, appearing for exam appearing in the exam on behalf of your child, even if it was legal, would you do that? And even if you do that, what will happen? Well, while the marks may be good, but ultimately, did the child learn anything? Obviously, we know that the child did not learn anything, even if the report card or the progress report shows good marks in all the subjects. But ultimately, the bottom line is that the child did not learn anything. So, what would we do in this case? We will definitely not go this way because it is neither legal nor it makes any sense. So, what will we do? We start giving more time to our child. We start spending time with him or her, try to keep in more experts who would spend more time on his or her education, and we try to work on the child so that the child comes at a certain level and starts performing on his or her own. And that's what most of us do, right? So in case of thyroxine, it is just that our body is not being able to make the desired level of thyroxine, just like a child not being able to cope up with the desired level of education. So we don't start doing his homework, classwork, and his exams on his or her behalf. But in case of thyroid, we are pumping in that extra thyroxine which the body is not being able to cope up. And that is what the thyroxine does. So maybe your test reports are all fine, the thyroid levels are within range, but ultimately the body is still suffering, and that issue still remains, right? So now, just like we spend more time on our child, on focusing on his education, devoting more time, putting in more effort, similarly we have to put in more time and effort for on our body, so that our thyroid gland becomes more active and starts performing its job, or performing its duties to a better level. And that way we can gradually reduce the level of medicine that we are taking right now to pump in. We can reduce that gradually, and the body will be making its own thyroxine at the desired level. Just like a child, if we give more time and focus and more efforts on the child can start performing at a certain level, if not at the best level, at least at a satisfactory level. And so can happen with our own body. In case of thyroid, it can be the thyroid gland which has started performing up to a satisfactory level, even if not at the best level. So that is what it is, guys. That is what the medicine does. It is only pumping in that extra thing, and the body is not recovering internally. The body is not learning how to fulfill that shortfall on its own, and hence it is to be taken for life. Another pitfall would be that the more and more we do our child's homework or classwork, the more and more our child becomes dependent on us. So similarly, in case of these medicines, the more and more we take medicine from outside, the more and more our body stops relying on itself and starts relying on the external sources, which is definitely not good for us in the long run for our health and happiness. So this was a simple analogy to explain as to how these lifestyle diseases work, and not only in case of thyroid but also in case of all lifestyle diseases. A similar analogy can be put, and this analogy will work also on those. Right, guys, thanks a lot for listening. I hope this made sense. If it did, do comment, share, and like. Until we meet again, be healthy, be happy, and be safe. Thank you so much.